Welcome home, Moni. Home. The taxi swerves around a sharp corner, tossing Simone across the back seat into the door, jarring her from sleep. Lost to her whereabouts for a moment, she lifts her gaze up the divider and across the confined space to the in-cab TV, certain she'd heard her mother's voice. She raises herself off the leather seat, unfurls her stiff body and jet-lagged mind, recalling the late-night dinner party, racing to catch a flight to the States, and stumbling into the taxi half asleep at JFK Airport. The driver eyes her in the rearview mirror. Was it his voice she heard? Did you say something a moment ago? No, miss. His brows furrow at her confusion. Long trip? She nods. Yes, France. Rubbing her eyes, she glances out the rain-mottled taxi window at the approaching 4-story brownstone. Home again, but there's no one to welcome her back from her trip. Dark windows reflect the gray day and vacant interior as the cab comes to a stop. Comfort, which she often feels when returning from an assignment, recedes with the deluge that pummeled the taxi from the airport straight to her apartment stoop. She steps into a curbside puddle with a silent expletive, splashing toward the turban-headed cabbie as he removes her luggage from the trunk to the sidewalk, pressing and jerking on the stubborn handle several times. Please, let me get that. No, miss, I got it, he replies with a stronger tug. There we go, he says with a victorious grin as though he'd accomplished an intricate feat, placing the handle in her outstretched hand. Thank you, she says, handing him a generous tip, which garners a gracious smile and a palm-to-chin bow from the Indian man. Namaste. Welcome home, miss. Thank you. Though his welcome isn't the intimate reception home she yearns for, it engenders a sincere smile. Taxi, wait! Another fare, she says to the cabbie, pointing over his shoulder at the couple running toward the taxi. He pivots his head toward the intersection, then back at her, pausing with an odd glare that causes Simone to frown and wipe her cheeks, afraid there's something other than rain on her face. His lips purse, then narrow. Rain brings good harvest and much enlightenment, he says with a nod of affirmation as if telling her fortune. And it brings many passengers. He smiles with a final bow, turns and signals with a hand wave to the couple, angling his body into the driver's seat. Was that a customary Indian farewell? Too jet-lagged to consider his strange expression and words, she turns and glances up, catching movement in her bedroom window on the upper floor. When nothing appears, she wonders if it was just birds flitting on a tree limb. She looks away and pulls her luggage up 10 steps and stops at the stained glass double doors of the Brooklyn Heights brownstone she shared 2 years with 3 wayfaring roommates who travel for work as often as she does.